What's up, guys? It is Sunday, so I'm going to jump back on the CD collection. I took a little break from doing these particular videos last week, decided I better get back on it. We are jumping straight into the M section, and we will probably be on the M's for a little while. I think this is video number 95, so I'm kind of anxious to see how many actual videos we will have just in the M section. It's probably, as far as alphabetically goes, if it's not the largest alphabetical section of the CD collection, it is right up there at the very top because there are a ton of bands that start with the letter M. Today we're still in MA, and we're going to be in MA when we finish this video. So I'm just going to jump right in. First up, we have a death doom band out of Australia. This is the Maledict with their debut full length entitled Dread. Pretty good stuff. This was released through Transcending Records in 2016. I think they've had a couple full lengths come out after this that I have not had the chance to listen to. I kind of forgot about this band, honestly, and now that I'm doing the video, I'm going to have to kind of reintroduce myself to them because I remember enjoying this full length quite a bit. Next up, we have some black metal. I believe this band, I think they might be out of Minneapolis. I could be completely wrong on that, but this is a pretty good release. I think it's their only full length that they put out. This is Maledict with Leave Only What Is Fit to Burn. Very occult themed, very dark themed black metal. It's kind of hard to pick out that artwork there. I remember enjoying this one quite a bit as well. I think my buddy Troy actually sent me this in a VCLT. I could be wrong on that, but I think this is one that came in a package that he sent as a little bonus at one point in the past. But it is a pretty good release. Next up, we have Malevolent Creation with one of their... This band has so many compilation albums. I have two compilations that have... tracks almost like off of all the same albums, which is pretty funny. And one was from Pavement and one was from Crash. This one was from Crash Records. This is entitled Retrospective. You guys know Malevolent Creation. I don't have to tell you anything about this band. This came out in 2004, so it has a bit of their early and beginning of the mid-tier albums to fall back on as far as the compilation materials go. Pretty good. I mean, it's Malevolent Creation. You guys know them. They're one of those death metal bands, Florida death metal bands. I guess actually New York and then Florida death metal bands that has always just kind of felt like they've been around. I've never thought of them as just like the be all end all of death metal, but they're very consistently throughout their entire career, their entire span, despite all of the lineup changes that they've been through. They put out very consistent, solid albums over and over. Next up is the next compilation. I'm telling you, if you go look at Metal Archives at their discography, this band has so many compilation albums, especially like in one particular period. It's kind of crazy how many that they put out. This is the compilation entitled Manifestation, and it has a lot of the same tracks that are on the other compilation. I got this one on eBay. The Retrospective, I believe, came in a Crash Records bulk lot, but this is one that I picked up on eBay some time ago. Good stuff. It's a two disc set there, so chock full of some killer material. And it's got some live tracks and some good stuff like that on it. And then we have the Essentials, it's not really a box set. It's just got 3 full lengths on here. It's got the Eternal, I just went completely blank, the Fine Art of Murder, and then In Cold Blood full lengths are in this. Not much to it, no liner notes or anything, just the actual disc. Kind of a cheap money grab from Crash Records, I believe. They didn't put much into the presentation on this, but at least it has 3 of their really strong albums, so can't complain too much because the music is what matters the most. At some point, I would like a standalone version of just the Eternal album. It's probably my favorite from Malevolent. At some point, I will probably just pick one up with just that album by itself with the artwork and stuff because it is my favorite. Then I have a couple that I picked up from Nuclear Blast Records in one of their kind of rip-off Black Friday sales that they do where they drop the prices on their albums super low, and then when you go to check out, they make all of their money back and then some on the shipping costs. Kind of crooked, but it is what it is. Picked up War Cult. As I said, I don't think there's a single album in the Malevolent Creation discography that I don't like, so you can't really go wrong. If you're not, I mean, I'm sure you're somewhat familiar at least with the name of this band. If you've never really just listened to Malevolent Creation, the Eternal album definitely would be my recommendation for you to check out their material. But honestly, it doesn't matter what full length that you decide to start with listening to. They're all very solid. As I said, I don't think I can think of one that I really just don't like. Obviously, you're going to have stronger material on some than others, but they've got a very solid and consistent discography. Next up, this is the other one that I got from that Nuclear Blast sale. This is Doomsday X. Pretty good. I actually was super impressed with War Cult and Doomsday X. It kind of took some of that sour taste out of my mouth from the shipping costs that I had to pay from Nuclear Blast. It's ridiculous. If you try to order something this year, hopefully they'll rectify that. But I mean, it's been the last several years. Just mark my words. Go try to buy something on Black Friday from Nuclear Blast, and then you can go complain about those shipping costs when you get to it as well. And then we have Dead Man's Path. This one was released through Century Media in 2015. This is the last one that I've actually picked up. But as I said, you just can't go wrong with Malevolent. Very well produced, well performed death metal, Florida death metal. Next up, we have a band out of Finland. This is Malicious with their Black Fumes demo EP. This was released through Dark Descent Records. Very occult-themed death metal. Very solid. It was showing that it was recorded and mixed in 2014. I don't see a date as far as the release goes, but I'm pretty sure that Dark Descent released this in 2015. I really like this. They released a full length that came out kind of in the in the middle of the pandemic, like right when the pandemic was picking up steam. And I have not grabbed that one yet, but that full length that came out in 2020 is absolutely phenomenal. At some point, I want to grab it and put it in the collection as well. But some killer stuff there from Malicious. Next up, I'm very much slacking on this band. This is Malignancy, kind of technical, brutal death metal. This is the only album that I own from Malignancy. This is Eugenics. Very strong release. It's probably not their best. I believe the album that came out before this, the name is kind of escaping my memory at the moment, is my definite pick as far as their best material, but Eugenics is a very solid release as well. Doesn't get just too overly technical to the point where it's unlistenable, but it's some pretty heavy stuff, and I do like this. And at some point, I say this, I've probably done said it on like 3 bands already just in this one section, but I would like to add some more Malignancy into the collection at some point. As far as their album covers go, this is probably my favorite artwork, so I mean, it's got that going for it. This was released through Willow Tip Records. I'm not seeing the date on it, and it doesn't really matter. Next up, we have a black metal release. This is another band out of Finland. I'm not going to take it out of the plastic because I'm pretty sure this is some of that cult black metal. I'm pretty sure it's got some blood on the artwork, and I'm not a real big fan of touching that, and it's just on a CDR, and I don't want to pull it out of the sleeve and get it scratched. I'm going to probably butcher this, Malignament with their demo 1. It could be Malignament, but I'm going to go with Malignament. This is their, as I said, their first demo. Came out 2018 maybe, somewhere along in there. Very solid black metal. I really like this one as well. They released a full-length I think last year. I know they have one full length in their discography that was pretty good, and I just haven't not been able to find that one on a physical format. But you can kind of see the red streak going down there. It is on the front and the back. Some of that true cult black metal going on there, and I'm not a fan of even if it's dried and old and probably. Nothing wrong with it now, but I don't really feel like touching blood. It's probably fake. I'm going to tell myself that it's fake anyway, but moving on, we have some Texas death metal. It is very unfortunate that this band split up. They put out one killer full length, and they have some demos and EPs that are out as well as split materials, but disbanded, and I find that very unfortunate. This could have been another one. I mean, they already had made a big name for themselves, but they could have been huge. This is Malignant Altar with their Realms of Exquisite Morbidity. I mean, you guys know this album. You should know this album. Released through Dark Descent. Killer Texas death metal. It's a crying shame that they are no more, but it is what it is. But at least we got one phenomenal full-length out of them before they went on their separate ways. Next up, we have some late 90s, early 2000s black and death metal. I forget where this band is out of, but I do enjoy them quite a bit. Maybe Utah. I'm wanting to say maybe Salt Lake City, Utah. This is a Malignant Inception with their debut full length entitled Black Death. I absolutely love this album. As far as their discography goes, this is my favorite. It definitely has that feel, even from the artwork all the way down, that kind of campy looking artwork. I mean, you kind of get what you're into. It almost has like a melodic death metal look from the cover art and stuff and the band logo, but it is like this blackened death metal sound. I dig this quite a bit, and as far as their full lengths go, this is my favorite. It was originally released in 97. This was the 2004 Slaughterhouse Records reissue, and I absolutely love this. I can't speak enough into how much I love this one. I definitely think you guys should check out Malignant Inception if you have not done so. I also have the follow-up full length. This one is entitled Path to Repression, I believe is the name of it. This one came out early 2000s, maybe 05. Not quite, maybe 05, 06. I don't remember. I think they had one other full length that came out after these, and I don't have that one. And then the band disbanded, and they had a compilation that came out probably about 2015 or so. But definitely, if you're going to pick up anything from the Malignant Inception, I would go for the first two full lengths. I love both of these. Black Death is my favorite, but this the follow-up, the sophomore, sometimes you kind of get that sophomore slump with some albums, but I thought that was a good, solid follow-up to that debut full length. Next up, we have a band out of Sweden. This is Maliner with Demon. This is death metal, thrash, I guess very thrashy death metal. It kind of totes that line back and forth between thrash and death. This is entitled Demon. 5-track EP, been out for a little bit, released through Unspeakable Acts Records. I either got this through Metalhead Box or through Unspeakable Acts, one of their little grab bags. It had to come from one of the two because I was not familiar with this band when I received the CD. Pretty solid. I think they have a full length out now as well, but this is the only release that I own from them, but I did enjoy that for what it was. Push that stack to the side and we will go through the second portion. I've been a little long-winded today, so I apologize about that. First up, we have some black metal out of Russia. This is Malice with Cursed Relic in this Northern Silence digipack. It's a pretty neat presentation on here. It kind of folds out eventually. It's a little played out, the fact that, you know, a lot of the bands do the little fold out digis into the inverted cross, but that's what we get here as well. Solid. There was kind of a trilogy of 3 albums put out that told this story. This was the finale of that. This one is signed by Nick, the one person behind this project. Pretty good, straightforward black metal. Gets a little atmospheric, but not. It doesn't go into the realm of atmospheric black metal. It just has that kind of feel. Has the feel of melodic black metal here and there as well. But a pretty solid release there. Next up, we have some funeral doom metal, very ambient funeral doom metal out of Canada. A very dark themed funeral doom. This is Malsanctum with their, I think this is the only full length that they put out. It is self-titled Malsanctum. It is has those religious kind of themes, dark religious type themes going on through this. 3 tracks. If I remember correctly, it probably comes in somewhere around 45 minutes to 45 to 50 minutes or so. The last track, The Shattered Spirit, just to give you an idea of the themes of the album, the name of the 3 tracks are The Father, the Son, and The Shattered Spirit. That final track is kind of like the epic track of that album. It goes on close to half an hour, but it is a solid track. Probably my favorite part of that entire release. Next up, we have some sludgy death metal, kind of death metal hardcore hybrid off of Relapse Records. This is Mammoth Grinder with Cosmic Crypt. This is the only release that I own from Mammoth Grinder. This is another one of those that I want to add some more of their material into the collection. I dig it. That artwork kind of matches the feel for the album, and I just love that kind of sludgy feel, kind of southern U.S. sludgy feel, death metal that this album has going for it. Some of their earlier albums have a bit more of that kind of hardcore punk vibe going on, but this one kind of leans much more into the death metal realm. Released in 2018 through Relapse. Next up, we have some kind of goth rock / metal. I haven't spent a ton of time with this particular release. The second one that I own from this band, I've listened to a bit more. This one just hasn't really resonated with me. I haven't just spent a ton of time with it. This is the Man-Eating Tree with their release entitled Vine. It says for fans of Catatonia and Anathema. You guys, if you know me, you know I'm not the biggest, I know it may come as a surprise, Catatonia fan, and I get a heavy feel of Catatonia on this particular album. Maybe that's why it just hasn't resonated with me to a certain extent or what. On paper, Catatonia is one of those bands that I should absolutely love, but maybe just the hype sticker alone is what turned me off on that one, because it's just a band that I can't get into. This particular album from the Man-Eating Tree, I absolutely love. This one is entitled In the Absence of Light. I hate the physical presentation in this little wallet digipack, but as far as the music on this goes, I absolutely love it. Very melodic, sorrowful, melancholy kind of feel, this gothy. It definitely feels more like a goth rock as opposed to a goth metal album. Next up, we have some death metal. I believe this band is out of Germany. Could be absolutely wrong on that. Not particularly sure. I think I got this in that big box of CDs that I recently got from Razorback Recordings. This is Mandatory with Rip from the Tomb. Very solid release. I've listened to this one in the car quite a bit. Haven't really played it on my stereo here in the house, but it is a solid slab of death metal. This was released through Ablaze Productions. I've enjoyed what I've heard through it so far. Haven't spent a ton of time with it. When you get so many albums in a short period of time, it's kind of hard to delegate your time accordingly and listen to everything as much as it needs to be listened to. Next up, we have a folk black death metal, I think death metal band entitled Menagram with an acoustic album, and this is the only release that I own from this band. Their like kind of black and folk stuff is pretty good, but the acoustic folk that is on this particular EP is absolutely phenomenal. This one is entitled Ermin's Havd, the Forest Sessions. And I love this. I like some of their other stuff, but this is the one that I absolutely loved, and I had to get on a physical format. It was kind of hard to find at the time on a physical format. I think it jumped up. I was listening to stuff on YouTube one day, and this just kind of came up on the autoplay, and I got to listening to it, and I really liked it, and it took me a while to hunt it down and get it in the collection, but I'm glad I have it now. Next up, a band that I've recently started getting into. This is some death metal out of the Netherlands. Late 90s, early 2000s is death metal. This is their debut full length. This is Mangled with Ancient Times. Definitely has that late 90s, early 2000s death metal feel and vibe going on. That's just kind of my heyday with death metal. I was absolutely in love with death metal at the time. And finding stuff that came out during that time period that is new to me now is kind of like a little treasure, and I'm glad to do so. Glad to have this one in the collection. This and the follow-up full length I've recently picked up. This was Mangled with Most Painful Ways. This one came out shortly after that last. That first one came out in '99. This one came out very early 2000s. Kind of grindy death metal at times, has a bit of that kind of death grind vibe going on, but killer stuff. They have one more full length, I believe, that came out a little bit later. I will probably pick that one up just because I like these two so much, but I'm kind of at the point now that I want to start hunting down some of their demo and EP materials, especially the ones that came out prior to Ancient Times. I would like to have those two demos for sure in the collection. Next up, we have some Russian death metal. This is some more 90s death metal. This is Mangled Torsos with their Drawings of the Dead full length. This was originally released in 1994. This is the 2011 reissue from Memento Mori. I believe it just recently got another reissue as well. Killer stuff. If you're into this like new wave of old school death metal kind of revival that is going on, get your hands on some real old school death metal. This is what you need. If you haven't heard this one, I implore you, if you're into those newer bands and stuff now, check out stuff like this that came out in the 90s. Mangled Torsos was absolutely it, and I'm glad to have that one in the collection. Next up, we have some more death metal, thrashy death metal, at times kind of grindy death metal out of Tennessee, my home state. This is Manic Scum with their Acidic Remains full length EP, 4 tracks. This is another that was released through Unspeakable Acts. Really like this one. I was not familiar with this band, even though they're from my home state. I was not familiar with this until I got it in a. I think I got this in a Unspeakable Acts Records grab bag. I could be absolutely wrong on that, but I think that's where this one came in, and it kind of opened my eyes to Manic Scum, and I really do. I like that little EP there. Next up, this is probably, they're pretty well known. I'm not going to say they're super underrated. In my opinion, this is the most overrated, underrated band, if that makes any sense. This is Manila Road with their full length entitled The Deluge. I own 2 albums from this band, probably my 2 favorite albums from this band. Kind of epic heavy metal, traditional heavy metal, epic heavy metal out of Kansas. People will speak the praises of this band forever and ever, and I mean I like them, but I just don't get it. They're decent releases. It's not something that I'm going to find myself returning to all of the time. I'm probably going to get crucified for even saying that, but both of these were released through both of the releases I have are Shadow Kingdom Records issues. Yeah, it's good. Is it something I'm going to listen to all the time? No. Is it overrated? Yes, but it is still good for what it is. And then I have Manila Road with Spiral Castle. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't been in the mood when I've listened to them. I am very moody as far as my listens go. But I don't see it. I mean, people talk about how influential and stuff this band is, and I guess I could see it influencing other bands. Maybe it's just from a bygone era. Maybe I just can't appreciate it more than some of the other folks can. I don't know. Next up, we have some indie rock, I guess. This is Amy Mann with her Ultimate Collection kind of compilation. I mean, this is good to throw in on the background if you're not wanting anything abrasive. The majority of it's kind of acoustic indie rock type stuff. Not for everybody, but I dig it. It's very, very good relaxation kind of background music at times. And then we'll finish up with some Manowar with Louder Than Hell. I haven't listened to this one in quite some time. This is one that was good back when I used to drink. You get good and liquored up and listen to Brothers of Metal. That's just one of those. If you're a heavy drinker, you've probably already heard that particular song. You've probably heard this album. I do own one other Manowar release, and that will be starting off on episode 96 on the next video. But that's all for this one. I apologize for kind of dogging Manila Road there. Hopefully you guys don't hate me, unsubscribe, and hit the dislike just too terribly much for that. But that's all for this one. I hope you guys have a good week. I will try to get another video up this week. I know, I mean, it's just, I slack on YouTube. I've been kind of neglecting YouTube quite a bit lately, but I will try my best to at least get one video up this week. I hope you guys have a good one. That's all I've got for today. Stay classy, stay metal, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys soon, I promise.